Okay.
Thanks for sharing some of my strengths with me. That was
So
really good to hear.
So just a name for the video, like before we turned the video on, we talked about how in independent work today, kids were like being very compliant, and also when you didn't have 100% compliance during cleanup, you continued to narrate and give corrections until your kids got to 100, and you did not move on until you reached 100%. And we're talking about guided practice, and so you're naming for me what things we're looking for in guided practice.
Yeah, so I know we talked about in the last O3 sort of the steps for guided practice, going through where the teacher model happens, but this time I was having the kids copy along with me, so I employed that starting the next day, which I found to be super effective. I haven't been doing the like counting about pencils, and you're right, it's making my life a lot easier to not have them put away, get back out, put away, get back out. And so following the model of like I do it, then it's sort of like half and half, where like I do a little bit of the explaining, but I have scholars, like I cold call scholars to give steps. Then the third one, like having them sort of teach me how to do it, and then the fourth one they do independently. And I actually was having a scholar come up to share a la number stories, because my kids were highly incentivized by that. So it's like I'm gonna look for someone who's working super hard, and they're gonna come up and like teach the class how to do the problem.
We would call it show call.
Yeah. So that was like a more fun way than like dot cam or them explaining it from their desk, and I found that to be really effective. Was really struggling this week because conceptually I didn't have nearly as many kids getting there, and so I was having to do more and more of the lifting. Like yesterday I did have scholars jump in and start answering questions, but there were so few scholars that were understanding it that like it was clear that mostly everybody else was just so I kept doing practice problems with them until I felt like more of them were understanding. So I sort of altered the guided practice. We like ran into doing teamwork for the problem set because I was like, we're still out there. We still need more practice. When I thought yesterday that I had like enough scholars that were starting to understand, I released them to independent work. But then I found myself, much like today, having to do so much individual conferencing that it was like an impractical use of time. Like I was doing so much, like going around seeing kids like did not know what they were doing, almost like mini reteaching it on an individual basis. So then I was like, this is a poor use of time. If this many kids need it individually retaught, I need to be doing something more whole class. So I stopped, and then during intervention, I sort of restarted my intervention with like what amounted to like another math meeting. We counted by regular tens, we counted by special tens, and then we went through the steps again, and I retaught the lesson because I want to say there were only 4 kids that even got to the exit ticket in the morning. So those kids who got it, I left them sort of like intervention. They did independent work, and I retaught the rest of the class, but it was just most of the class in this case for intervention.
I'm going to stop you there because we've gotten a little far away from guided practice. That's okay.
Sorry.
So, but I do think like you named exactly like what guided practice should look like. I think just the more that you can like build up that guided practice, like the better your kids will be prepared for independent practice, right? And like even though it's like this is a tricky concept,
is it okay to like I guess sort of keep continuing with guided practice so when they're not getting it? Or?
I would. We'll pause there because we're getting a little off track from what we need from like the guided practice conversation. We'll still come back up to that at the end of the conversation. I think like my general feedback to that would be like you need to make a call about when it's the right time to release them, but we'll circle back to that. So I'm gonna really quickly like model for you like again just like what a guided practice looks like, and I just want you to like analyze what I do. Okay.
Sure.
Okay, so you're my scholar right now. Okay, so we're looking at 55 plus 23. I have everybody sitting in star, back super straight, feet together. Thank you, Kalechi. Thank you, Addison. Great, we have 100%. All right, what's the first thing I should do on this problem?
The first thing I need to do is label my number sentence. I label it.
And how am I going to label that?
Part plus part equals whole.
Perfect. What's the second thing I'm going to do?
I'm going to draw my first number.
And how am I going to do that? How am I going to do that, Shmi?
First I need to draw my tens. I need to draw 5 10 sticks. Then I need to label them.
When I say go, pick up your pencil and make your paper look just like mine. Go. Okay, Shameen, what's the next thing I should do?
Now I need to draw my ones. I draw my 5 circles and I label them. There are 5 ones.
Okay, what's the next step?
Now I need to draw my second number, 23. I draw my 2 10 sticks, but I don't label, I don't label yet.
Okay.
Then I draw my 3 ones, but I'm not labeling yet.
Okay, watch me, my turn. First, I'm going to count all of my 10s, and I'm going to redraw them over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I need 7 10s. Then I'm going to count my ones, and I'm going to draw them over here too. I need to draw 8 ones. Okay, last step. What am I going to do now, Shameen?
Now I'm going to label.
I'm going to recount them and I'm going to label them. Label on your paper as I label it out loud. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78. Great, put your finger on number 2. Okay, what's the first thing I should do in number 2?
Label my number sentence.
First, I want to label my number sentence. And what's the second thing I should do in number 2?
Draw my first number.
Let's go ahead and do that exactly right now. First, we're labeling our number sentence. And then we're going to start drawing our first number. What should I draw for my first number, Shameen?
I need to draw my 4 10 sticks and my 7 circles.
Great. I take 30 seconds and make your paper look exactly like mine. Okay. I see everybody's there. What's the second thing I should do?
Now I draw my second number, my 1 10 stick and my 6 circles.
Perfect. What should I do next?
Now it's time to draw my hole.
And how am I going to do that, Shameen?
I put all my 10 sticks I see together. So I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 10 sticks. So I draw 5 10 sticks.
Okay, and then what do I do after I draw my 5 10 sticks?
Then I need to draw all my ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I need to draw 13 ones.
11, 12, 13. Make sure you have 13 ones on your paper just like mine. I'm looking to see. Okay, what's the last step?
I need to count my hole, but I have more than 10 ones, so I have to turn 10 of them into a 10 stick.
Okay, so how am I going to do that?
I count my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then I cross those out, and I draw a new 10 stick. Then I label my leftover, then I label my hole, so 10, 20,
Yeah, can I have somebody label for me? How should I be labeling this on my paper?
You label your 10s, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 61, 62, 63.
Perfect. And then lastly, what should my answer be?
I write my answer at the end of my hole. It's 63, and I write it on the line.
Okay. Flip your paper over, put your finger on number 3. All right, I see everybody there. Go ahead and take 3 minutes and solve this one by yourself. Go. Okay, let's pretend 3 minutes has happened. Okay. And let's have, Shameen, why didn't you share out with me? What was the first thing you did?
First, I labeled my number sentence, part plus part equals whole.
Okay, second thing you did.
Then I drew my 79 with my 7 10 sticks and my 9 circles. Then I labeled them. Next, I drew my second.
Wait, one second. Because we want to make sure everybody's paper looks just like mine.
So at this point, are they just checking their own papers to make sure it looks like what you're writing on the board? Okay.
Yep.
Next, I drew my second number. I didn't have any 10s, so I just drew my 8 circles.
Okay, and then I need another person to tell me, what do I do after this? Shameen.
I drew my hole next. I put together all my 10s. I had
How many 10s did you have?
7 10s.
Okay, what'd you do after that?
Then I had to put together all my ones. I counted my ones, and I had 17 ones.
Okay, What do I do after this? I need a new friend to help me out. Addison.
I know that when I have 10 ones, I can turn them into a 10 stick. So first I counted 10 ones.
Okay.
I crossed them out and I made a new 10 stick. Then I labeled everything 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 8, was it 82? Also?
You're right.
80, and then I labeled my leftover 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87. Then I wrote my answer on the line, 87.
Perfect. As we were working, you should be making sure that your paper looks like mine, but take 30 seconds and make sure that you have the exact same work that we saw from our other friends. Okay, so thinking about that, and then thinking about how guided practice has been going in your classroom, what are some differences?
So I think the teacher model is working. That is consistent. What was less consistent was definitely the last step. So the coming back from essentially like a mini independent practice to share out. I need to like repeat more of what the scholar is saying, like for the kids that don't get it. It's almost like too much lifting happening on scholars. Like a scholar solved it, but then I need to be like verbally walking through each step that scholar did and verbalizing that for the class.
And even not necessarily like you verbalizing that, but hearing that verbalized, right? Like rely on, I would say like this piece is like you really want to rely on other scholars, right? To tell you back like this step, this step, this step, this step.
Okay. I'm sorry, I should have said repeating what they say. I want to do more of that so like kids that aren't there hearing it multiple times.
Yeah,
I'm not doing that right now.
So I think it's like this is like their first at bat, right? So then what happens after this is like you bring them back together, but you need to break down for them what it should look like and how they should get it. So if they made an error, and they see like, this is how I fix it, and like this is what I'm going to do to address it.
Okay. And then, so what I said today, and to correct me if I should do something different, when this part is happening, like, should I be narrating to scholars, like, check your paper and make sure it looks just like this? Like, if you see anything different, fix it, make sure it looks like what's on the board.
Yep.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I would say that like the purpose of then bringing them back together after that guided practice is so they have a chance to fix their work. Okay. So like right here, like they should be like pencil in hand. Like if it matches, great. If it doesn't match, then like this is your chance to fix it.
Okay.
Cool.
Can I ask a completely direct math question?
Can you wait till
sure.
We'll have some time.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna name your action step for you. It's very similar to your action step last week. I just wanted to make sure that it was like very, very clear for you.
Yes, I appreciate this. I feel like I modified the first half, and then I need to work on modifying the second half.
I mean, some of it is just like when there were other things happening in the room today that meant that I didn't necessarily see evidence of the action step, right? Doesn't necessarily mean you haven't been doing the action step. It just means like I just didn't see it when I came in today. But I just want to make sure like it's extremely clear for you like what you're doing and how you're doing it.
Okay.
Cool. Okay. So you should probably write this down as I'm saying it because it's a little wordy.
Okay.
Okay. So your action step this week is to use the guided release model during guided practice. Gradual release during guided practice, sorry.
Use gradual release during practice.
Okay, and you're going to do this by following these steps. So first, in problem number 1, so during problem number 1, kids are going to sit and star. They're going to name the steps for you. You're going to model the first steps. And then,
Sorry, this is after teacher model.
Yeah, after teacher model.
I'm just gonna make it teacher.
Yep, so the first problem of guided practice.
Model, then sit and star name steps for me.
You're going to give them a cue to start writing. And once they have that cue, then they should make their paper look like yours. You're thinking aloud about the math here, right? So you're the one who's actually like collecting the tens. like turning that stick of 10 or turning those ones into another stick of 10. But kids are naming for you what you should do with the procedural steps. Okay, so then in problem number 2, kids are going to name the steps for you and name the math for you.
Sorry, would you be able to give me an example of the difference between naming the steps and naming the math?
Yep. So an example of that would be, so for example right here, right? Like the step would be like, you're going to write 55. Okay, I'm going to make 5 10s and 5 1s.
That's me saying this this time.
The step would be, I'm going to make
Draw 23.
I'm going to draw 2 10s and 3 1s. The step is I have to write 47. The math is I need
So then have a
4
kid
10s,
say this
yep.
part the second time. Okay.
The step is I need to make 16. The math is I do 10 1 10 6 1s.
So name the steps and name the math for problem 2. Okay.
Should I have a one? Should I call on as many scholars as possible if I have scholars, or just like have one scholar explain chunks?
I would call in as you want to hit as many scholars as possible.
All right.
Okay, so then in problem number 3, kids are independently solving the problem.
Okay.
And then at the end, you're going to give them wait time to solve the problem.
Okay.
And at the end of that wait time, they'll sit in star. And you'll call on people to explain their work. Okay, I know it's like it's wordy because there's a lot of
No,
different
this
pieces
is
to
this
it.
is good. This is important.
Yeah, so
me
I want,
get this.
can you tell me back what's your action step going to be this week?
Yes. So I'm going to use the gradual release model during guided practice, and the steps of that will look like, for the first problem, scholars are sitting in star, and I'm cold calling them to name steps of the problem, while I write on the board and model. And then I'm giving them the cue to copy what I do, like at an appropriate time. But I'm doing the thinking aloud for the naming the math per se. So they tell me what to do, and I talk about exactly how I'm making that happen. For number 2, I cold call kids to name the steps the same way, but then also to name the math. So tell me what to do and how to do it. I write, and I'm guessing again, cue to write and copy paper, or at this point
So actually for
they just sort of copy as we go.
yep, for that
I
one
should make
they should be I think they should be writing the whole time. Copy as we go. So I think you want to have like a clear signal of like when to start writing in that first problem, and you want to have a clear signal in the third problem of like when to stop writing.
Okay.
But for that middle time, like they should just keep writing.
Okay. And then for problem 3, I release them to independently solve, give them time to solve it, and I guess like give the direction, like when you're done solving, you're back and start tracking me, so I know you're finished.
I would make that even clearer for them, right?
Okay.
Like you have like 1 minute and 30 seconds to solve. When the timer goes off, you're back and start.
Okay. And then I cold call scholars to basically talk us through the entire problem steps and naming the math of how they solve the independent problem. And then release them to, and then that's when I'm having kids fix the mistakes. So while I'm copying, saying like, make sure your paper looked like this too. If it did, great. If it didn't, fix it.
Yep, absolutely. All right, so I want you to take a look. This is, if it's not the one you'll teach tomorrow, it's one you'll teach later this week. Okay, and we are running very short on time, so.
That's okay. I don't mind running over if you have extra time, because this is important to me.
Okay. So super quickly, I want you to look through this, and you can script out on here. You can use the lesson plan, but just take like 2 or 3 minutes to script out how you'll what you'll do for guided practice on this, and then let me know when you're ready. Is it recess?
I think so.
Is there an admin available that wants some Skylar's back?
Okay.
Okay, ready?
Yes.
All right.
Scholars, we are in STAR. We just saw how I solved the first problem, and now I'm going to be looking for some friends to help me. Who's in the best STAR who can help me figure out what to do for this problem? Who I'm looking to see. Leanne, what do I do first?
First I have to label my number sentence.
Yes, I'm going to label my number sentence just like Leanne said. I'm labeling like this. Part plus part equals
Is there anyone
whole.
from SPED that can bring scholars back right now?
Sorry, I'm going to interject and ask a question because I just realized I didn't clarify this for myself. For the first one, because I'm cueing them when to write, are there multiple writing cues or do I have them copy at the end of the problem when I'm done
So
writing?
I would say think about
Leanne.
modeling like the first like couple of steps, like you chunk them together,
Okay,
and then like think about when it would make sense to give them a cue to write.
okay, gotcha.
So then like once you cue them to write, like they don't necessarily need, like they don't need to start and stop again. So think
Okay.
about like when does it make the most sense after you've given those first like 2 or 3 steps to just say like okay, right.
Okay. Now I have my number sentence labeled and I'm looking for a friend to tell me what to do next. Addison, what do I do next?
You labeled your number sentence, so next you need to make 77.
Next, I need to make 77. Scholars, watch how I make 77. I'm going to draw my 7 10 sticks because I know I have 7 tens.
Thank you.
Then I'm going to label them. Next, I'm going to draw my 7. I see that I have my 7 ones. And I'm going to label those. Awesome. I drew my first number. What do I do next, sir?
Sir, I need to make my 15.
Excellent. I need to make my 15. I'm going to draw my 10 sticks. I just have 1 and my 5 circles for my 5 ones, and I'm going to label. Scholars, when I say go, take 30 seconds to copy my paper. Go. Ooh, I love how Leanne picked up her pen right away. She's copying her models just like mine. We're back in STAR. Let's see if we can figure out the last step. Who can tell me what I need to do now? Komori?
The last thing that you need to do is you need to put all of your 10s and all of your 1s together.
Yes, I need to put everything together. So I need to see how many I have. Let me see how many 10 sticks I have. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I'm going to draw all 8 10 sticks. Then I'm going to see how many 1s I have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12. So I'm going to draw all my 1s. What do I do last? I guess that's next. What do I do next? Lorenzo?
Well, I see that we have more than 10 1s, so I need to cross out 10 1s and make another 10 stick.
Excellent. Let me count my 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Ooh, I have my 10. I cross them out, make a brand new 10 stick. What do I do with my model of my whole now, Olivia?
I need to label it.
Excellent. Watch how I label my whole 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 91, 92. Scholars, take 1 minute, finish, or 30 seconds. Copy my whole, just like I did on my paper, and make your labels nice and neat. Don't forget to cross out your 10 and make a new 10 stick. Ooh, I see Leanne crossing out her 10. Her model is so neat so she doesn't get confused. And we're back in star. Ooh, thank you for getting right back in star, Leanne. Jamel, what was our whole?
Our whole was 92.
Our whole was 92. So we write our 92 on the line because we found our answer. Excellent. Scholars, now I'm looking for friends who are going to be able to copy nice, neat models the same way and help me with the steps and tell me what to do for our second problem. Let's see who's going to help. Amira, what do I need to do first?
First, you need to label the number sentence.
Excellent. Scholars, let's label our number sentence. And how are we labeling it, Veron?
We're labeling it part plus P equals W.
Excellent. We labeled our number sentence part plus part equals whole. Now that we labeled our number sentence, what are we going to do now, sir?
Make 34.
And how do you make 34, sir?
3 10 sticks and 4 ones.
Excellent. Scholars, we're making those 3 10 sticks and 4 ones. Don't forget to make them super duper neat with those nice neat labels. Great. We drew our 34. What now, Journey?
Now I need to make 59.
Excellent. And Journey, how are we going to make 59?
I have to do 5 10 sticks.
Great.
And then I have to do 9 ones.
Awesome. So scholars, we heard Journey say we need to draw those 5 10 sticks and those 9 ones. Go ahead and draw those. Label them nice and neat. Make sure your paper looks just like mine. We drew our 2 numbers. Awesome. What do we need to do next, Koya?
Next, we need to put all of the 10s and all of the 1s together.
How am I going to put all of them together, Kalechi?
Well, first, I'm going to count all of the 10s together.
And how many do we have, Kalechi?
8 10 sticks.
Great, scholars. Let's draw those 8 10 sticks.
Oh, okay.
We drew our 8 10 sticks. Get those nice, neat labels on there.
Tomorrow, and I was really updated it.
Awesome. What do we do now, Jamel?
Now I'm going to put all of my 1s together.
Awesome. Can you tell me how I make that happen, Jamel?
Well, I have to count my 1s. And there are 13 1s, so I'm going to put 13 1s down.
Great. Scholars, let's get those 13 ones down. So now that I have my 13 ones, what am I supposed to do now, Kamori?
I need to see if there's 10 that I can take away.
All right. Well, how am I gonna see that if I have 10?
Well, I should X out the 10 that I need to take away, and then I should make a new 10 stick.
Great. Scholars, let's cross out the first 10, just like Kamori told us, and let's make a new 10 stick and label it. What now, Addison?
Now I need to label the leftover ones.
Okay, can you tell me how I'd make that happen?
I'm going to say 91, 92, 93.
Perfect. Now that I know I have 93, what do I do last, sir?
I have to write my answer on the line.
Scholars, make sure your paper looks just like mine. Nice, neat labels and models. And now that we're all back in STAR and we finished our first 2 problems, it's our chance to see if we can do it by ourselves. When I say go, you will take 2 minutes to...
Actually, I'll pause you right there.
Sure.
So you said now we're all back in STAR. Do you want them to sit in STAR right there?
Yes, so I can give them directions
Okay.
for what independent practice should look like.
So I think you need a name for them, like
Okay.
sit in STAR.
All right.
It's like BMC.
So I guess I should like give them an opportunity to finish copying.
Yeah, and then just
problem.
name for them like actually like now you need to be in STAR.
All right, scholars, we're gonna take 10 more seconds to finish copying. And I need some sort of... And now we're back in STAR. Looking for friends with hands folded tracking me. I have some special directions for our next problem. This problem, thank you for that, Star Leanne. This problem, we're gonna get to do it by ourselves. We're gonna take 2 minutes to solve the problem by ourselves using all our steps. When you hear the timer or when you finish, you're right back in STAR tracking me because I'm gonna be calling on special friends to teach the class how to do the problem. Remember, our work is at a level 0. Get ready, go. And then I'll just be circulating at this time. Okay. Ding, 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 ding. Ooh, Leanne's back in STAR tracking me. I wonder which friends are going to be able to show us exactly how they solved this problem. Olivia, can you tell us what you did first?
First, I labeled the number sentence.
And how'd you label it?
P plus P equals W.
Great. Scholars, as I'm writing what our friends are teaching us, check my paper and your paper to make sure they look exactly the same. If there's ever a time that it doesn't look the same, fix your paper and make it look like my paper. We've labeled our number sentence. Addison, what did you do next on your problem?
I broke down 76 and I made 7 10s and 6 1s.
Great. So Addison made her 7 10s and her 6 1s. Make sure your paper looks just like my paper and Addison's paper. So we've drawn our, oops,
I'm gonna pause the practice there because it's 11:59. We're going to go to lunch in a minute. How does that feel?
it felt like a lot, but it felt doable. It's very logical. So I need to make it a habit.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it.
I think that's like a very strong reflection, right? It's like just making it a habit is sometimes the hardest part.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would just say like thinking about like when do you need kids to sit and star, when should kids do writing, right? Which is like also like what we talked about the last time, like to make it very, very clear, like this part of the guided practice, like actually like I need you to be in star, but this part of the guided practice, like you should be writing.
Okay.
And so this part, like I'm really gonna enforce star, but this part I'm enforcing like pencil to paper. It's like that's the direction there.
In terms of me making sure that I'm maintaining behavioral expectations, anytime that like it's not happening, should I freeze the instruction and address the behavior?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I've been doing. I just want to make sure that's the right thing to do.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Yeah.
I will.
Like, anytime if you're looking at and there's more than like 3 kids who are not doing what you asked them to, like
Full stop.
Yeah, pause
Fix
it.
it.
Pause
Okay.
it and fix it. Yep.
Okay. I'll do that.
One like quick thing I did want to share with you, I would say right now your kids are going to timeout and they're taking their work with them, and I would stop doing that because they're not
Okay.
sitting in timeout the right way, and it's because they're like doing their work, or like because
Okay.
DJ was like reading really loudly, like things like that.
Okay.
So I would just
Leave your work
tell them,
and
yep,
go. Okay.
Yep.
All right.
they just gotta sit and stare.
Make that happen.
Cool. And I know you had a question that I did not have a chance to answer, so if you want to shoot me an email, I will respond.
Yes, I will definitely do that.
All right.
Thank you so much.